Hi guys, my name is Nonima Digela. Welcome to the Noni M podcast. Today I want us to talk about George Malloy, the state prosecutor, the senior state prosecutor, George Malloy. But before we get into doing that, guys, please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end, and please make sure that you are engaging on this channel. Please, 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 please. Now let's talk about Malloy. Guys, one thing that we must never shy away from saying is that Ubaloyi believes that he's a very powerful man. Or perhaps he is a very powerful man. He's very connected. But the question is, how can one man be so able to go to leave his own office and the NPA? First of all, he managed to make sure that the Senzo Meyiwa case 636 goes to court. While he was in a meeting, let's say he was in a meeting with the other two officials who are also high-ranking officials, way experienced. And then they sat down with Gininda and Tim and talked about the case. And then the memorandum of facts and whatever that Mr. was asking for, then they had an indictment that was done. And it's not talking to what is happening currently in court. Ukeli Khumalo in the courtroom is known as the mastermind, but in the indictment, she is a victim. And then there are statements that are saying that she's the mastermind. And then when Mnisi questions this, we discover that Ubaloyi is in the forefront of how everything was moving. And Ubaloyi is also in the forefront of why Gininda could not get a signed J50 for the arrest of Kelly Khumalo. So the warrant of arrest of Kelly Khumalo, it looks like it was Malloy in the forefront that stopped it from happening, even back in 2020. So that's still NPA, right? And then we go to SEPS. He manages to get Gininda, who brings all this hearsay evidence. The Section 205 of hearsay that is Steyn and Host presented. And also the firearm situation that did not land, because we are aware as the public that every firearm that was being arrested with someone, it was supposed to be tested for the Senzo Meyiwa case, which it happened. Look at what Mncube brought in the courtroom when Umangena came, and then he jumped in the case of 636 from the page, and Mncube was like, I do have the same page that he's reading from, but mine starts with 636 and Umangena. And Judge Ratha did not call him out for that. Judge Ratha did not call him out for that. Do you understand? So we have a problem in South Africa of Malloy. He went from NPA, he's the big dog, a top dog. He tells people what to do. It looks like he's the one in control. And then we go to SEPS. He manages to get Gininda to get all this evidence and these hearsays. And then he goes now to the laboratory, even though he was not there personally, but now we're getting an evidence from the lab. The only evidence that he could not manipulate is the one of the DNA, because the DNA person was straightforward to like, abahlangani. Do you understand? Now, the last straw for me was when he got us Mr. Sambo with the FFC saga situation. I was like, Shukuti Ubaloyi thinks he is the man that he thinks he is, right? He is what? He is untouchable. No one can do anything to him. None of his shenanigans can come out. That is how he is moving, in my view. He moves like someone who says, you can't do anything to me. There's nothing you can do to me. That is how he is moving. He is moving as someone who says, I can do as I please. In the courtroom, he does as he pleases. And he gives evidence in drips and drabs. He's that guy that will do whatever he thinks he can. So my question is, why is he so sure of himself, sure that no one can touch him, nothing can happen to him? What is going on? Who made Baloyi the king? That, you know what, South Africa is your kingdom. Even the judiciary, even though you are not a judge, but this is your kingdom. Do as you please. Who said that to him? I'm still confused by that. I don't know about you guys, but Baloyi is giving the vibes of I can do whatever I like and there's nothing that you can do to me. F you. He's giving me those vibes. He's giving me those vibes, guys. I don't know. I could be very wrong. I'm not saying that's what he is particularly saying, but that is how he vibes for me. Because why is he forcing the entire Senzo Meyiwa case down on our throats? It's just that he never comments, but the way he is moving, it looks or sounds like exactly how Chico would be like, they are the people in the courtroom, deal with them, accept that, and stop this nonsense. Why must we stop? We are listening to the evidence, Mos. We analyze it. And then after we analyze it, then we see which this is not making sense. This is not make sure. Why should we believe this? Why should we honor something that we can see that, nah, there's no honor in it? Why? He is forcing down our throats as the country at large and other people in the world that are watching. We must accept that I choose 1 up to number 5 are the ones that were killing Senzo Meyiwa. However, still the same Baloyi does not want to sign the warrant of arrest for the same so-called confession that Kelly Khumalo is the one. So why are we being forced? Mosi, if they sign that one for Kelly Khumalo, it's going to move. She's going to be in jail and sit there for the trial, just like the other 5 accused are sitting for the trial. Why is it not that way? Why is it hard for him to do the same thing, treat them equally? Because if they are saying they are pointing at her as the person of interest and the person that sent them to kill, then why is she not arrested because they pointed at her? By the way, the one thing that he is trying to link Kelly Khumalo with the accused is the one that is falling flat. The Vodacom Section 205 says that Kelly Khumalo has nothing to do with the crime. And you can't force it because you can't have, if I'm on a call, doesn't matter whether it's a WhatsApp call, or a direct call, or a Facebook call, or an Instagram call, it doesn't matter. The moment another call comes through, the other one pauses. If I don't want to pause it, then I cut off the other call and answer the incoming one. They are, they can't be the same. The minutes that the calls were, they will not be the same. The other one will start from where the other one stops. Because now you are on hold, and then I'm sure Vodacom can pick up when you are on hold. So when we are being forced now to accept things that are not make sure, same time? No, guys, no. I don't know who gave Baloyi powers, and he is using them. He is using them big time, guys. He is using the powers that were given to him, and he's using them in so many ways than one. But all I'm asking, who gave this man power? Who made him the president of the streets? Because it looks like the way because I have never heard Judge Rata calling out to Baloyi. Okay, fine, except for that one time he asked, what's your problem? That was Tuesday, right? Yeah. But he was not calling him out. He wanted to know why they are not going to continue. Yeah, guys, kuningi, it's too much. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? Do you think Ubaloyi thinks he's the man that he is? Or do you think Ubaloyi is trusting someone or something? What's going on? Do you think he could be the next judge in South Africa? Does he deserve to be even a judge in South Africa, Ubaloyi? No, I don't know. Let us talk to comment section, guys. I want to hear your views. I want to hear your thoughts when it comes to him. How do you view Mr. George Baloyi? Do you think he is someone that you can trust? Do you think he is someone that you can put your life on his hands when it comes to whatever? No, I don't know about you, but me, nah. Personally, I don't trust him. I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you so much. I'll see you on our next video. Bye bye.